Kimball International has announced more details about its upcoming spin-off of Kimball Electronics. More on that. Plus, Carrie Schneider is back with our friends at the DuBois County Humane Society, and Whitney Hall and Nick Stevens discuss the upcoming Haunted Huntingburg event tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin tonight with the sentencing of two Pike County men involved in a DuBois man's death during a bar fight in Jasper last fall. 24-year-old Leslie Osborne Jr. and 23-year-old Zachary Parks, both of Petersburg, received 3-year sentences to be served through the DuBois County Security Center. Osborne's sentence will be broken down into a year and a half of adult day reporting. The other year and a half will be served on supervised probation. Meanwhile, Parks will serve his 3-year sentence through work release. Now, this story began when a fight between two unidentified men broke out outside of JR's bar in Jasper during the early morning hours of October 12th of 2013. After attempting to break up the first fight, Osborne and 41-year-old Timothy Stafford of DuBois confronted each other and began fighting themselves, according to Jasper police. Police further say once Stafford and Osborne were separated, Stafford attempted to punch Parks, but Parks punched Stafford first, knocking him unconscious. Osborne and Parks then continued to hit Stafford while he lay unconscious. Stafford was initially taken to Memorial Hospital. He was later airlifted to St. Mary's Hospital in Evansville, where he died from his injuries. Parks and Osborne were originally arrested by Jasper police back on October 17th of last year. They initially faced Class C felonies for involuntary manslaughter. Those charges were changed to Class D felonies for criminal recklessness resulting in serious bodily injury under terms of the plea agreement. A Birdseye woman who was hospitalized after jumping from a moving vehicle on Friday has succumbed to her injuries. Vanderburgh County Deputy Coroner Stephen Lockyer tells 18 News that 22-year-old Jalen Staggs of Birdseye passed away at St. Mary's Hospital in Evansville over the weekend. Lockyer says an autopsy was set to take place today. Now, Staggs was riding in a vehicle driven by 22-year-old Tyler O'Keefe, also of Birdseye, just before 1 o'clock on Friday morning. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies say the vehicle was going southbound along County Road 1175 East, south of County Road 425 South, when Staggs jumped out. Staggs was originally taken to Jasper's Memorial Hospital by ambulance. She was later airlifted to St. Mary's, where she had been listed in critical condition prior to her passing. Meanwhile, O'Keefe fled the scene, but deputies later took him into custody at a garage next to his residence. O'Keefe was then taken to Memorial Hospital for a drug screening, and that screening found that O'Keefe had taken marijuana, methamphetamine, and opiates. O'Keefe was lodged in the DuBois County Security Center. He faces level 6 felonies for leaving the scene of an accident resulting in serious bodily injury, operating while intoxicated causing serious bodily injury, and causing serious bodily injury while operating under the influence of a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance. O'Keefe also faces misdemeanor counts for operating while intoxicated endangerment, and operating under the influence of a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance. The planned spinoff of Kimball Electronics from Kimball International is now in sight. Officials with the Jasper-based company have now released details and timing of the planned spinoff. Kimball International's board of directors has approved the final distribution ratio and declared a pro rata dividend of the outstanding shares of Kimball Electronics common stock. This now clears the way for the spinoff. Marty Vaught is the Director of Public Relations for Kimball International. He says the spinoff process has been pretty smooth to this point.
Things are going very well at this point. Obviously, a lot of activity as we move through these last 25 days through the target date of October 31st. But things are progressing well. Like I said, quite a bit of activity going on.
The distribution date has been set for Friday, October 31st. On that date, Kimball International shareholders of record as of 5 o'clock Eastern Time on October 22nd will get 3 shares of Kimball Electronics common stock for every 4 shares of Kimball International Class A or B common stock that they have. Fractional shares of Kimball Electronics common stock will not be distributed to Kimball International shareholders. Instead, they will be aggregated and sold on the open market. The net proceeds will then be distributed ratably in cash payments to Kimball International shareholders who would otherwise get fractional shares of Kimball Electronics. No action is required for Kimball International stockholders to get the Kimball Electronics shares. They instead will get a book entry account statement that will reflect their ownership of the stock shares. Kimball officials are encouraging shareholders to consult with their tax and/or financial advisors about applicable tax and investment consequences of the spinoff. A pair of area roadwork projects could leave you seeking alternate routes over the next few weeks. Starting on or after this Friday, officials with the Indiana Department of Transportation say State Road 145 will close at Sigler Creek just south of Exit 72 off of Interstate 64. Officials say that closing is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. Regal Incorporated of Newburgh will be repairing bridge joints and applying a thin overlay in the area. NDOT says this work is part of a $1.75 million preventative maintenance contract for several bridges across southwestern Indiana. The detour for heavy highway traffic will utilize State Road 62 and I-64. Folks can then get on either State Road 37 to the east or State Road 162 to the west. Meanwhile, NDOT officials will be closing State Road 257 between Washington and Otwell for pavement repairs beginning next Tuesday, October 14th. That closing had been set to begin tomorrow originally. NDOT crews will be doing a fine milling and sealing coat operation to repair sporadic potholes that have cropped up along the road in order to provide a smoother driving surface. NDOT patched this stretch of road earlier this year and began pulling up reflectors in anticipation of the upcoming work. The detour for heavy highway in this area will follow US 50 along with State Roads 57 and 356. Now, as always, NDOT is reminding motorists to slow down, use caution, and consider worker safety when traveling through work zones across the state. For construction updates and traffic alerts, you can go to ndot.carsprogram.org. You can also go to NDOT Southwest's Facebook and Twitter pages. A southern Indiana man has pleaded not guilty to charges that he killed his wife, who reported missing back in June. An Orange County judge ordered Monday that 49-year-old Jeffrey Fulton of rural Paoli be jailed under $1 million bond. He was arrested on a murder charge last week after police investigating the disappearance of 34-year-old Michelle Fulton found human bones during a search of their property in southern Orange County last week. Prosecutors accused Fulton of killing his wife by hitting her in the head with a frying pan, then burning her body in the backyard of their home about 40 miles south of Bloomington. Authorities say Fulton told police he had not seen his wife since dropping her off in June near a Kmart store here in Jasper. Finally this evening, a departing state Senate Republican has broken with his party to endorse the Democrat seeking his seat. Republican Senator John Waterman of Shelburne endorsed Democrat Steve Lindsay yesterday. Now, Waterman lost a grueling intra-party primary battle back in May to Republican Eric Bassler. The battle pitted Senate Republicans and Waterman against many of their most frequent allies, including the Indiana Chamber of Commerce and a Cook Brothers group. Waterman called Lindsay a good conservative Christian. Lindsay is a former Greene County Commissioner. Bassler is a current Washington City Councilman. Now, the battle between Lindsay and Bassler is for the District 39 state Senate seat. That district covers all or parts of Davies, Greene, Knox, and Martin counties here in southwestern Indiana. All right, coming up after the break, Carrie is back with our friends at the Dubois County Humane Society, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform with Nick Stevens and Whitney Hall. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.